jñānaṃ jñeyaṃ tathā jñātā tritayaṃ nāsti vāstavam ajñānādbhāti yatredaṃ soham asmi nirañjanaḥ.
Knowledge, what is to be known, and the knower. These three do not exist in reality. I am the spotless reality in which they appear because of ignorance. Jñānaṃ means knowledge. Jñeyaṃ means the object of knowing. Jñātā is the knower. All these elements exist in our consciousness. They are the three basic aspects of our knowing. In addition, you should also consider the faculties of knowing, namely the mind and the senses, which represent the knower only. All these are part of our knowing and active in our consciousness. Take one of them out and the knowledge or knowing does not arise. This is true about all mental and perpetual knowledge, which arises from and depends upon the triple division of the knower, the known, and the faculties of knowing. In all the worldly knowledge which is pursued by one's mind and senses, there is a knower, the one who is pursuing some knowledge. There is something to be known, the one which is being pursued. And there is knowing, the process of acquiring something which is being pursued. This tripity can never be avoided as long as the knower and the known are different from each other. The subject and the object are different from each other, and there is duality between the subject and the object. And this difference is unavoidable because whatever knowledge one wants to acquire, whatever experience one wants to have, other than he himself, the pure consciousness, all other things lie outside him, and therefore there has to be a difference between him and something which is outside him. Worldly knowledge, which arises from the activity of the mind and the senses, and mixed up with the influence of ego, has several limitations. It is like the image that appears in a mirror, which is covered with a thick layer of dust and a few clear patches here and there. Thus, in your wakeful state, you will never see the complete picture of what you experience. Much of it remains hidden and distorted. You see a few fragments of reality and build your own version of it, partly with your imagination and partly with your memory and logic. The Vedic seers focused upon attaining the higher knowledge or transcendental knowledge, which was not subject to such limitations or imperfections. If knowledge must be pure, and if it must cease becoming an object, it must arise outside the domain of the mind and senses, or without the participation of the mind and senses. Thus, when mind and senses are transcended, there is nothing to be pursued outside. There is no known different from the knower. Neither there is any process of knowing when there is no known existing outside the seer. In the transcendental state, when the modifications of the mind are put to complete rest, the duality of the knower and the known disappears, and only the knower remains, without the need or the desire to know. Since it is a state which is devoid of any objectivity, knowing arises from within as pure awareness, without desire, modifications, aim, or purpose. This is the state which Ashtavakra speaks here. He speaks of the spotless or blemishless self, which does not objectify reality or truth, but contains all knowledge within itself, as itself. The commentary is appearing abstract. Okay, let us make this verse alive in our contemplation. I am the knower, and as long as I apply my mind and senses to pursue any objects in the world whatsoever, then immediately three things come into picture. I, the knower, or I, the experiencer, and whatever I desire to know, that is the object which I would want to know. So that is known, or whatever I want to experience, So, I am the experiencer or the knower. The object becomes the known or the experienced. And in between, there is this process of knowing or experiencing. Very clear, right? You take any object you have pursued in your life, whatsoever, this triputty will be there. Now, the knower remains, but there is nothing to be known, no object pursued, no desire for any object. So automatically the process of attaining that object is also not there at all. The knower without anything to be known outside the knower. What will be that knower? That knower is consciousness, pure awareness, or to be more precise, objectless awareness. The knower remains, that is pure awareness. With nothing to be known. And that state, the knower without having anything to be known, Ashtavakra says, me, the knower, without anything to be known. That knower am I, and that knower or pure awareness is what? It is the Soham Asmi Nirañjanaḥ. I am the spotless reality. Sa aham asmi nirañjanaḥ. Chinmaya, it writes on this stage, quoting a verse from Avadhuta Gita. He writes, in the supreme infinitude of the self, no meditator, that means no knower, no experiencer. Indeed, in your heart, there is no samadhi, no meditation, no jñeyaṃ, no the process of experience. In your heart, no space outside, no point of meditation, that is, no known or no experienced. In your heart, no time or object, that I am, the blissful immortal self, evenness of feeling ever. Like unto the sky, untouched, unbound. And concludes with these lines, Chinmaya, such mystic realms of experience are beyond the comprehension of the finite intellect. Hence, The best commentary upon them is to be discovered through one's own deep meditation, where one crosses the meditation, transcends the object of meditation, and all the three, the meditator, meditated, and the meditation, all merge into one supreme spotless consciousness. Hari Om Tat Sat.